Hey technicians, it's Jen from Draftline, and today I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to use the Draftline Smart System mobile application. We are very excited to have our friends at Crafty on the program. It's been a long time coming, and we hope you really find it easy to use, and we are here to support you. We've got your team leader, Rebecca, myself, Petra, Chuck, and Amber, who will be here to support you, and feel free to call us with any questions you have, especially through these first weeks of service. So once we have our startup meeting, you guys will receive your startup packets, and within that you will have your login information. After you have your login, you'll be able to go to the App Store, and I know that you're all working on iPads, so you'll just go to the App Store, input Draftline Smart System. It will search for our app. It'll come up. You click install, and you install that on your iOS device. You're not locked into using iPads. You can actually use our Android app as well. Everything feeds exactly the same way. So whichever device you prefer, but if it is a work device and you're mandated to do that, then let's stick with the iPads. So once you log in, you will see Jay's list or Jay's route for the next 2 weeks. And you can maneuver back and forth by date. Typically, it will just open up to the next page and you're going to start your day from the beginning. So the first one I've already tinkered with a little bit. So let's go into the Whitney, which is going to be the second trip for the day. Now, this is the overview page for the line cleaning trip. This is a picture of the front of the page generated by Google Maps. You can get directed, you can call, you see the email information if it's there. Also, we have the preferred date and time of service, and we have the trip title, which is line cleaning at the Whitney. Once we get into service and installation trips, they won't all say line cleaning, obviously. So you'll know specifically, do I need to take my pump in? Is this a service trip? So we try and give you lots of visual indicators as we move throughout our day. There will also be any special notes, excuse me, underneath that section. Say, for instance, a location has hydrostatic beer pumps and you'll burn them up if you try to recirc. We like to try and note that information for our technicians there. So underneath that, you'll see all the technicians that are assigned to this particular trip. In this case, I think every technician or every line cleaning trip just has one technician right now. I'll have to confirm that as far as who's going to log in and generate the checklist. So this is the overview page. Once you see this, you're going to promptly scroll over to your tasks page from the bottom of your device. And so we'll click on that. First thing we want you to do when you arrive to the location, get out of your truck, you're going to check in. That gives us a really good time accounting. We don't ever want to generate reports for our customers or our admins that say you were there for 1 minute. So the way we solve that is we check in as soon as we arrive at the location. We then put our device away, commence on with our service, and then later, after you've got the chemical flowing and everything through the lines, then you will do your faucet survey, and the same thing is going to apply for checkout. After you have all your stuff loaded up on your truck, you're ready to go, that's when we're going to check out. We want that time accounting. So at the top of this page, we have our safety first guidelines. What I want you guys to take away from this, well, is all of it. However, goggles and gloves. I always want you wearing your goggles and gloves. So let's go down to the bubbles. For line cleaning, we typically just have these two checklists assigned. So this is the line cleaning checklist. What's one of the things that's unique about Draftline is we have a virtual system builder. So for every system within a location, you're going to know what type of system you're going to come into contact with. This particular one is a direct draw. All of these options are going to appear under for line cleaning for all of your system types: glycol, air-cooled, direct draw. So for this one, and for everyone actually, the first 4 steps are always regular maintenance. So anytime you're performing a line cleaning service, you're always going to check that box. Now, for you guys, because you're crafty, you are going to be checking recirculation more often than not. And when you have your quarterly acid cycle, you would also check that box, but only when you're doing the acid cycle. Now, say this is a direct draw, so it makes it simple. As an example, say you get in there, it's a direct draw box, and you can only do a static cleaning or pressure pot cleaning. We're just going to click those two boxes, and then at the bottom right of the screen with a green check box, we're going to click that. That's going to save those check marks, take us back to our tasks page as I stutter. And for line cleaning, it will also always say partially completed. That is simply a visual indicator for you. It's no indication to the admin that says, oh, I haven't done everything. We already know you're never going to check all those boxes at one service, or it would be very rare. So moving on, we want to verify which faucets we have serviced. For your service center is a third-party outsourced provider, it is incredibly important that we get this correct. So I will tell you, heads up, my friends. This is a very simple example. At the top, we're going to verify that we took everything apart, disassembled, put it all back together. Now, we are only at the bottom going to tick the faucets that belong to our wholesalers or breweries that we service for. These are the lines that we have cleaned. We are going to be tracking every line within a location, but we're just going to verify the ones that we have serviced today via our line cleaning. Now, every time we do a faucet survey, or every time we verify which faucets we cleaned, in the beginning it's a little bit more difficult because you're going to see faucet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because we have to populate all the brands on these faucets, and that's part of the process that we're going to work through on the next screen. But what I do want you to know is when we go into a location as technicians, the industry standard is bartender view left to right. That is how we survey a system. So you're going to stand behind the bar just like the bartender would, so that's why we call it bartender view, and you're going to go from your left, faucet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it could be up to 130, all the way to your right in that view. And we can discuss this in the startup meeting. There's a couple of different scenarios where systems can be wide. You can have one side of the bar faucets 1 through 30 and the other side faucets 31 through 60. We'll walk you through all that, but it always comes back down to standing in front of the tower left to right. So you're going to verify what you've cleaned that way. We are going to, again, check the little circle with a check mark. That'll take us back to the tasks page. And I do have to say, this is very quick. Once you're up to speed, you guys are going to be 25 seconds per trip to fill out this app. It goes bam, bam, bam. So let's click over to System. I'll go back to show you notes. And the reason why I want to do this is the survey. This is how we input our brands and distributors so we know what our company needs to build and verify what we have serviced. So when we look at the bartender view left to right, first faucet is Budweiser. Second faucet is Miller Lite. Third faucet, we want to edit this. So we're going to slide our finger across and click that little pencil box. Now this one is very similar to what you're going to see. There's going to be a number in that faucet box on your first cycle of service for every single account. Once these have been vetted by the girls back up on the cloud on the dashboard, when you go in the next time, you're going to see Budweiser, Miller Lite, and everything that you've put in. So for this one, let's just say Angry Orchard. And you will have drop-down boxes that are populated. I am hoping that we can have those done prior to the start on Tuesday, as long as Thad gets me that list. So we're going to click on that, and then at the bottom right of the screen, you're just going to click Next. Let's say the distributor is, let's go with Adams. Okay, so this one's already populated. Again, you're going to click on Adams Beverage, click Next, and that's okay. So that's exactly what we need you to fill in. It would be great if you had time to put Angry Orchard in the name above where we have the brand, but if that's not there, we don't care. We'll fill it in back on the dashboard and you'll see it on the next time around. On this particular note section, we don't want you to put any notes here. It was meant to see if there were any issues with the faucets, and it's been grossly misused in certain service centers, so we don't allow anybody to put notes there because we're not going to take action on those. So make sure you do not use that notes box on the faucet change request. So we're going to click OK, and that sends the faucet request right back to the dashboard where we're going to review it. So we click OK here. So for instance, on this one, say you go back in the next time, you're doing your survey, bartender view left to right, Budweiser is no longer Budweiser. So we slide across again and we go in here, we back everything out. It's now Bud Light. Oops, if I could spell. There we go. In our drop down menu, just click on that, click next. The distributor could change. You get the idea of that. So we'll click OK. And again, we're off and running. So that's really it. You slide across, and that's how the faucet edit request comes up. The other thing you can do from this page is if you need one extra faucet, 2, 3, or 4 extra faucets, you can add it this way. You slide across on the tower, a plus sign comes up, and this is how you add a faucet. And it's literally exactly the same as the faucet change requests. It just, again, has to get added. And you can click next. And again, you put in a distributor, which will auto-populate next. Okay, so that adds the faucet. But if you get into a situation where we've sent you into a location and say there's more than 1, 2, 3, or 4 faucets that you need to add, and again, we're going to replicate that left to right methodology, bartender view, you need to text us, because myself, Rebecca, Chuck, Amber, back on the cloud, we can do this really fast. And it's going to cause a lot less confusion. We can add it to the future recurring trips. So just text us if you have to have a lot of edits to the system builder information, especially when it comes to the faucet survey, because this is our revenue generator, and we want to make sure that we're very correct and make this easy on you guys as well as we go through, especially the startup process. So that is how you do a faucet survey. Now, going back to notes, this is the page at the middle of the screen where we really want you to send us any kind of note you need. At the end of the day, every day, typically the service manager receives the line cleaning service notes. I'm sorry, the line cleaning trips notes and the service trips notes. We have 2 different reports. Everything pulls into a nice, pretty report where it can be reviewed just by a glance, and we take action on a lot of those items back on the cloud for your service center. Say we need to reschedule something. Say something's broken. Say you went in, you couldn't perform service, no gas in the system, so they had nothing for you to push the beer with. You just send that, and that is recorded as a note on the trip, and it makes things very easy from an accounting standpoint as we go back and review information within the location. The only other page you guys have to use, and also let me add this, camera roll. You can take a photo, or you can choose to add photos from your camera roll, and those all save as a permanent record of the trip as well. And knowing how you guys love to install and do it well, we call it installing, you might want to record some of those things. So this is where you're going to do that, and it's going to save right particularly to that trip instance and make a wonderful record. So that is how you would use those options. So the last thing on the options pages are, we're going to go to the expenses, which is this little dollar sign. For right now, you guys aren't going to use any of this stuff. This is more for installation and service, but we are going to try and capture signatures. So for this one, I'll just put my name. We like to at least try and get the last name of the person that is verifying and signing for us. We'll click success. And just at the bottom of the screen, you have them sign their name. You click done. And that saves, again, just like the photos, as a record of the trip. We can also capture in some quick service reporting the date and time that the signature was captured. And that's helpful to the admins if there's ever a discrepancy in the service record. So that being said, we're going to go back to the tasks page once you've just maneuvered through everything, again, left to right through this, and we are going to check out. And these checkout options are available only to the foreman. So if you ever don't see them, especially on the first 2-week cycle, we could have just to click a button to make them pop up for you. So our checkout options. Basically, in line cleaning, we have these four statuses. The first three are the ones that we use all the time. Completed is hopefully 95% of your accounts. You came, you saw, you conquered, you got the line cleaning finished beginning to end. You will click completed, and that will code back to the dashboard and also on your mobile application to let yourself and everybody know that it's finished. Partially completed is a status that we use for very large venues. So back in the day when I was in Detroit, this would be something like Ford Field, Tiger Stadium, where it took us 2 or 3 days actually to do the line cleaning. So until the line cleaning is totally finished, you put it into the partially completed status. And then on your last checkout, again, that would go to completed. Now, no work performed. Unfortunately, no work performed is a status that about 5% of line cleaning trips fall into, and this is because of no fault of the technician. Say you showed up and they're busy for lunch, they won't let you clean. Say you don't have any brands on tap that you're servicing for your wholesalers or breweries, that would also fall under that category. Say for whatever reason that the beer system is not functioning and you can't clean it, they don't have beer for whatever reason. So you would click no work performed. That will then again set the status, color code it. Cancel, we really don't like anybody to use unless the location is closed permanently. So if you get somewhere that has been a customer for some time and it's closed permanently and you know, then we have you use the cancel button. But that's really the only instance we like to see that. So for the little tutorial we're doing here, we're just going to click completed, and that is going to color code back on our trips page, and it will also color code back on the dashboard. So that's really the gist of it. Just for an example, one thing I would like to show you on the faucet changes is when you go and do a survey. If it is an off brand and you're not sure who the distributor is, we like to put in independent because that helps us group it into reporting that at some point somebody may be able to filter through and let us know who the distributor is. If it's a brewery, and I believe we have 5 to 6 on this one small route, we're going to input the brewery if they're the self-distributing brewery. So those are all the little intricacies that we want you guys to think through, but we're here to help you. So if you text, call, whatever, and you don't hear back from us within 5 minutes, that would be unusual. We're usually at the ready, especially through the startup phase for you guys. We just want you to feel comfortable getting in contact with us and seeing that we'll help you move through your day and try and keep you moving fast. I don't know if I covered this as well. I think we talked about adding faucets, and if it gets to be over 4, we definitely want you to text or call us to add some, and then that way you can just pop the brand and distributor information into the boxes. But if you are at a system that is a very large venue, say it's a World of Beer, something like that, we've got 15, 20, 25 faucets. We don't want you guys to sit there with a mobile application, especially over the first 2 weeks of service, and try and enter all those on your own. We can have you sit down, write a list, take a photo, text it to us, or email us at the support@draftlinesmartsystem.com email. We'll get those brands in. We want you to get in contact with us to figure out how to do that. Sometimes we can work from photos, but that is very difficult on a system that is 130 brands. So the best thing to do is get in contact with us directly, and we'll kind of work through how we're going to do it on the fly. But typically, just writing down a little list is very, very effective, and it speeds you up and it makes our life easy when we have to go back and do it. So hopefully this was informative. We are, like I said, at the ready to help you. So we'll talk at the startup meeting on Friday. And if you guys have any questions, you let us know. Thanks so much and take care, guys. Good luck.